Hello, Sharpies, and welcome from the Big Brothers of Lambda 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 Fraternity Incorporated. We are your nerds, and we are here to talk about stuff that has happened in the world this week. I'm Tom Cunningham.
I am James Herndon.
And as always, we want to give a shout out. Technically, Anthony, because James is on the show, he kind of beats us, but he also did not leave a comment. So I'm just going to give you props as being our number one Sharpie of the week. This is a joy-free episode, but that does not mean we are without mirth.
No.
We are here to talk about stuff and keep it. We're going to try to keep it to a nice, tight hour because this brother is tired.
Naps are needed.
I am very tired, and so we want to have the show because it's important to have the show. But then we want to release y'all to y'all lives because a lot of stuff has happened this week, but we're also kind of waiting on tenterhooks for some things to finally close out. So before we even get into all that, welcome back to the show, James.
Thank you for having me. Glad to be back.
We appreciate you filling in these moments. Were you at the Tri-Lam National Convention this year?
Nah, I missed that this year. I couldn't get out there with the rest of the brothers to represent. Okay. But
see, if you're not financial, you're not really living up to your responsibilities.
It's been a hectic first half of the year. A lot has been going on, and we are organizing another gathering Labor Day weekend. So here in Atlanta, so there will be a nice little drove of us all representing the colors.
Well, I want to make sure that we give support to our brothers at Adams.
No,
to make sure that they.
No.
Hey, a brother is a brother.
I mean, he chose wrong. There was only one fraternity to choose. It was Lambda Incorporated.
Well, this is what I'm saying. So the good brothers at the Adams College branch, I don't even know what chapter that is, but if they're competing in the Greek Olympics again this year,
you mean Alpha Betas?
Yeah, we're sending good vibes their way. Better vibes, I think, than the former president of the United States is experiencing right now. But that is not our number one story. What we are all kind of waiting on because it looks like Amy Coney Barrett.
Oh, no.
Maybe Justice Roberts. Maybe the folks that may be the voices of reason while we sit down waiting on this SCOTUS immunity ruling. Now, Gorsuch and Alito and to a lesser extent Thomas, but certainly Gorsuch and Alito are bending over backwards,
of course,
to try to make this case. And I think it's actually preposterous because, again, you don't have to be concerned about establishing a precedent for a situation that will only occur if Trump is elected. That's basically what you're doing. You're trying to pretend like there have been so many constitutional crises as related to felonious conduct by a president before, and it just has not been an issue.
No, we can count them all on one hand.
One finger of one hand.
So Nixon, and that's it.
We kind of had, I guess that's not completely fair, but Nixon, it was taken off the table because he was pardoned. Nobody wanted to go after Reagan that aggressively.
Of course not, because he's their great white hope.
Correct. So, and it was a much less partisan time. And Ronald Reagan, even in his retirement, was a much less divisive figure and a much more respected figure, even across the aisle, than Trump will ever be. And the bottom line is that Alito is a hack. And he needs to go. Everything right now related to SCOTUS and related to Alito in particular is under a cloud because he knows he should recuse. So Ketanji Jackson recused.
Yeah.
When she had a conflict and she was brand new, fresh.
Alito's not going to recuse himself because he's hoping for a Republican candidate whether
Right.
it's Trump or maybe the next president, whoever serves after this upcoming election 4 years down the road. That's
Right.
who wants to step down to maintain this complete dominance they have. He doesn't
Right.
want to be, if it goes back 5-4, there's a balance there. It's still not a balance in the favor of what the majority of the people of the country want. But
Right.
5-4 is still a balance that most people can live with. 6-3
Right.
is
Because
pretty much a domination.
Roberts would be the dependable swing vote. And
Right.
Roberts isn't completely crazy.
So,
Both of them, Alito and Thomas, need to go. If Trump were elected, I think both of them would step down before
of
the end of the
course,
term,
of
so
course.
that he could appoint another Kavanaugh or another Coney Barrett or whatever. But they are not going to Bader Ginsburg themselves.
No, they don't want that again.
No. So it's been kind of a mixed bag. They've ruled very narrowly on things like mifepristone, which is we talked about last week.
Of course.
They have kind of shut the door on the suit brought by the wealthy family who was trying to defend their income, that they are saying wasn't income, blah, blah, blah. They kind of pushed that to the side and left the door open for that. But obviously immunity is what we're in, and we're near the end. I mean, everything's got to come out within the next 2 weeks. So the fact that they're even playing these sorts of games, I don't know. Are they currying favor? I don't really understand. It's clear you cannot say that he constitutionally has absolute immunity. It's clear.
You can't.
And I'm not a damn justice.
There's no precedent, one. There shouldn't be precedent. You can't have the president. I mean, hell, even Nixon acts, 50 some odd years ago, posed the question, is the president above the law? And we determined then that he isn't. Now, to his small credit, Nixon did step down forcibly, but he stepped down. Trump is going to go kicking and screaming one way or the other, whether it's him losing the election or, jumping into an early hole. But that's the only way he's going to be out of the social zeitgeist, if you will, as far as mouthing off and espousing the nonsense he's putting forth.
I haven't listened to all of the deliberations and I haven't listened to all the presentations, but you bring up an interesting point. Mm-hmm. Nixon wasn't convicted in the Senate.
Mm-hmm.
He stepped down.
Right.
But the door was still open to him being prosecuted until he was pardoned. So the framing that Trump's people have been trying to say, well, he could only be prosecuted if he had been removed. Well, if he had been impeached and convicted in the Senate, that was the only way you could prosecute him. But that was not the situation the last time and the nearest time we had a circumstance most closely approximating this situation.
Absolutely.
And he was in office. He had been elected again.
But when does impeachment ever successfully remove a president from office?
Well, I mean, it's kind of nonsense. Unlike any other quote unquote judicial proceeding,
exactly,
there is no pretense of actually even listening. The minority party can say off rip, it's not happening. We're just not even going to go through with it.
Right.
And it stops the proceeding. That's never the case in the legal system. You have to at least plead out or whatever, or accept a bench ruling or something like that. One of the jurors can't say, nah, we just not deliberating today.
Yeah, and answering to Congress is basically the definition of a kangaroo court, unfortunately.
Right.
So I
mean, the real definition of a kangaroo court, unlike Judge Merchan, unlike my good frat brother, Brother Curiel, who presided over the the fraud case, unlike Engoron, who presided over the Letitia James fraud case. These are juries. Well, Engoron wasn't a jury, but that was your own people's fault. They had the option to request a jury trial, and they ain't. So what are you going to do? It's not on the prosecution to set your stage for you. They trying to win, and win they did. So
yes, they did.
SCOTUS right now pretending like there is any possible way, and I honestly believe that Amy Coney Barrett is the voice of reason here. She is.
That's scary.
Well, exactly. I mean, the thing is, I think she's hitched her star to abortion rights, and she got abortion done. She had to lie in her interview to get it done,
Of
but
course.
they reversed Roe. And so that's her thing. She's not one of these sycophants in the way that, or 100% right wing ideologue. I think she takes her job a bit more seriously than somebody like Gorsuch. Gorsuch is there,
Right.
but I think she actually considers herself to be a fair arbiter, even though on the one issue, her Roman Catholic heritage demanded that she take, I guess.
Yeah.
All that being aside, I don't find her as squirrely as Alito or Gorsuch or Thomas. So there's a chance that she's 4, and then it makes it easy for Roberts to be 5. If they were smart, Roberts would get a switch.
See, that's
off
a
the
key
bush
phrase.
outside.
That's a key phrase right there. If they were smart.
Well, correct. I mean, they don't want to be. Well, maybe Alito and Thomas want to watch the world burn. I don't know. I think if it is clear that Roberts and Coney Barrett are going to be 5, I think Kavanaugh is craven and he will be 6. I think Gorsuch will probably stick with the other assholes. But 6-3, I'm fine with, as long as it's not just, barely hanging onto a thread, as long as we're communicating to the country. And then let's remember, Thomas has a ton of trouble. He's got potential tax trouble because of these unreported gifts that he's now finally copping to, millions of dollars and da-da-da-da-da. And so there's that. And then the Alito flag stuff is not going away. It might not have any teeth. And certainly you're not going to find anybody like Mitch McConnell or anybody else trying to demand that they step down or anything like that. That's not going to happen. But it's not cute.
Oh, absolutely.
It's really not cute.
And in Thomas's case, it goes a little deeper because he's trying to roll back everything that put him in that position anyway. So
exactly,
which is weird in and of itself because he's hell bent on, I got here through my own merit. No,
you didn't. You got there because you were black.
Yeah.
And you were replacing a black. Albeit, a non-Geechee black, but being Geechee in and of itself is only a problem for you because you ashamed of how you talk. Ain't nobody else studying that stuff. And you ran away from that Geechiness into the arms of Virginia. So,
oh my gosh, which you better be careful because they roll back enough stuff. Your marriage is illegal.
Loving v. Virginia, holler at your boy. You guys want to turn over Obergefell, so the next logical thing is Loving v. Virginia. So let's keep it a buck. Speaking of people who are not okay in the head, the obvious question that has been bouncing around people's brain holes this week is Trump okay? Now, the MAGA forces have been saying for the longest that Joe Biden is, 2 steps away from an avocado in terms of his mental capacity, and that Trump is the only one who can hold it together. Meanwhile, Trump is on stump speeches praising Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah.
In possibly the worst dad joke. He even had a friend for dinner. He's a great guy, that Hannibal Lecter. Had a friend for dinner. Grandpa. Nobody's.
And it didn't even go over with the audience because they were baffled. Like, what the hell is he
talking about? What are you talking about?
Like, when your own constituents, your own rabid fan base is dumbfounded by the words coming out of your mouth, there is a problem.
And how long are you going to keep lying to yourself that
until
he's the only one who's got sense?
Look, the slogan is "Die with the lie." So, I mean,
well, unfortunately for his mental examination provider, Dr. Ronnie Jackson.
No,
not Johnson. Not Johnson. Not Ricky Johnson. Ronnie Jackson. Whose biggest, I guess, achievement as Surgeon General was that he said he thought Trump could live to 200 because he's the most physically fit president in history or some outrageous lie. And so now this mental, I want Joe Biden to take a test. I want him to take a test. Take a mental acuity test. You won't be able to pass as well as I did because I did the best of anything that's ever been recorded in the history of mankind. Dr. Ronnie Johnson. Dr. Ronnie Johnson gave me that test just last week. And I'm as fit as a fiddle. Joe Biden couldn't pass that test. Jackson, bro. Man's name is Jackson. I'm sorry, Miss Jackson.
I am for real.
It's
he can't pass his own test.
No, he can't.
Like, what is he even talking about?
Man, camera, TV. I still remember it, but I'm not being tested for dementia. Part. That's what that test is. You want to impress people? Take the Mensa test, bro. Ooh. Don't take the Alzheimer's test.
No.
Well, no, the Mensa. I mean, that would be ridiculous.
Obviously, he couldn't pass. He wouldn't succeed on Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? So
no. Oh no, those questions actually get kind of competitive eventually. And he definitely wouldn't be in the 1% club. Have you watched that new show on Fox? The new quiz
Not
show?
Yet. It's on my watch list, just at least catch an episode or two. But it looks intriguing.
I will tell you, Patton Oswalt is not the obvious person you would select to be a game show host, just because we've been programmed to more or less look for somebody who's conventionally symmetrical looking. Whereas Patton Oswalt is kind of like a melting hobbit, but he's very good at being quick on his feet and interacting with the guests and with the players. All you need this day. That's all you need. And the show's premise is actually very clever because instead of like trivia questions, it's more like mental puzzles. Mm-hmm. So some questions are easier. I mean, the premise is that you start off with a question that 90% of the country is able to answer correctly. And you keep reducing and reducing. The questions get harder and harder until you get down to a 5% question, at which point you can no longer buy a pass to get out. And then everybody who advances from the 5% question has a chance to compete at the 1% question to either take the pot, if you're the only person who answers the question correctly, or divide the pot evenly amongst people who are surviving in the last round. So I've seen one guy take it all. I've seen two people split it. And now I have seen a person not get it. Ooh. Which is horrible because she was the only person left.
The only person left.
She was the only person standing. And it was a tough question. It was a lot to kind of process. Mm-hmm. But it is a clever show and it is a well done show. And shout out to Christina Ford, who is my cousin. And she was actually on the first episode.
Nice.
She didn't win. Okay. She didn't make it to the end. But I saw her and I was like, that's my cousin. So shout out to you, Christina. She's a new mom. She got married and now she is a mom. And so it was wonderful to see you on that show. And I wish you could have gotten $100,000. And I'm not just saying that because I'm one of your few cousins in Los Angeles. And I'm saying honestly, it would have been great to see you participate. And she didn't get cut early. Like it was like a middle of the pack question. And I was looking at all the they do it kind of dramatically. So it's kind of like in Hunger Games when the people fall out and it's like boom. So they're in this arena and all of their seats are individually pin lit. So when they say, now let's see how many people we lost, they light up the whole thing and then they go boom, 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 boom. And they dim the light of everybody
who got knocked eliminated. Yeah. Okay.
And so it's a neat little thing. And you have to sit there the whole time and suffer. You can't leave. You had to sit in the audience through the end of the game. I mean, sit in the thing through the end of the game, regardless. So, if you go out on question number one, like somebody went out on question number one in the latest episode. Yeah, one person. You had to sit there and be like, damn.
How long I gotta stay here? Can y'all hurry up with these questions?
I couldn't have gotten that question right. Damn. But it's a good show. I actually like it. And, I think one of the challenges it will have is that as you get into the second season, people are seeing and learning the tricks that they use in the question. So if you're playing in season 2, if there is a season 2, then it's going to be a lot harder to eliminate people because people are going to be absolutely looking for the little gags because they explain why the answers go this way. But we're talking about Trump and Trump being okay. He is clearly not in the 1% club.
No.
He's not really in the 100% club, if I'm being fair. He can't. He's answering questions that have not yet been posed, and there's nothing good about that. And he also he's having kind of a mixed bag in terms of people like Eileen Cannon, who have been, she's been doing her level best to kind of drag things out, but it came out today that 2 people suggested that she recuse herself, and she chose not to. And one of them said, you should let this go to the Miami court because they already have one of those special SCIF rooms.
Okay.
But she said no, and so they had to build a SCIF in her little boondocks-y ass courtroom. So taxpayers ended up paying to build a SCIF because she didn't want to let it go, and we all know why she didn't want to let it go. But she's catching a lot of heat. She's only had 4 cases to go to trial out of the 200 plus cases that have been assigned to her.
Okay.
And exactly. So she's been on the job 4 years, and she
so 4 cases. 5.
And right, and she's not. I mean, she's slow walking this one. So every day we hope that the 11th Circuit is going to do the right thing and say, "Girl, stop." Like, we know you control your calendar, but you are also not issuing any orders that can be countermanded or appealed because you're sitting on them. That's not your job. You have to actually rule on things. You're the person who's holding up all these rulings. So do your damn job, ma'am. Just make it happen.
And with Trump, something else I saw this week, he's going at it over Fox News and a poll because Fox News polled people and 50% approved Biden over him, and he's like, "The hell? I never liked
Can't even depend on Fox News.
Can't believe them. They're liars.
They're fake. It should be called fake snooze, fat snooze." Yeah,
I was like, where did this come from?
Well, it probably came from the sermon in that black church in Detroit.
Oh gosh.
Now, I have lived in Detroit, in the Detroit metropolitan area, 3 different times in my life. I lived there when I was in 5th grade. I was at Jesu Catholic School. Then we moved away, and we came back, and I was at U of D High School Jesuit Academy. That was their junior high school. So they have University of Detroit Jesuit School, University of Detroit High School Jesuit School, University of Detroit Jesuit Academy is junior high. So I was there for 7th and part of 8th grade. Then we moved to Chicago suburbs, and I was able to complete all of my high school education there. And then the family moved back after I graduated. And so our family home was in West Bloomfield. So lived in Detroit 3 times. My sister lives in Ferndale now. So I'm familiar with Detroit.
Right.
Kwame Kilpatrick was a friend of mine at Florida A&M University. We were contemporaries at Florida A&M University.
Okay.
It's a lot of black churches in Detroit with actual black congregants. But it is safe to say that there is no black church in Detroit that has enough Trump-supporting black congregants to successfully host a Trump rally populated by black people. You know, you got some in every crowd now. You know, you got some people.
There's always 1 or 2.
Byron Donalds. You know, Clarence, we looking at you. You can't fill a black church full of Trump supporters in Detroit. Not after the way they treated those poll watchers at Cobo, and you know, it's just not going to happen. So you literally pack your church with white folks, and then have the few black people you got standing on stage with you,
all 5
pretending like it's a black church and a black service with lots of black support. White people wearing black African Americans for Trump and blacks for Trump T-shirts.
Yeah, all 5 black people in the audience.
Yeah, you didn't even have the deaconess board. Ain't no white gloves standing there.
Where were the hats? Where were the hats?
Oh, there are plenty of MAGA hats.
No, not those hats. You know.
Oh, I know. You talking about good church lady hats. You aren't talking about hats that are fit.
No, not them red caps.
No, them hats is not fit for the house of the Lord. You need Aunt Ernestine's fascinator. Aunt Josephine's big ass.
Where was Shirley Caesar?
When my grandfather passed, and we went down to Beaumont, Texas, the town of my birth, it's a city, and he owned funeral homes, and so it was a big funeral service, and there was a woman who came to speak, and she got up, and when I tell you, her hat, the diameter of which was large enough to spontaneously create a gravity well around her. So like she's walking down the aisle and parishioners are like leaning into her. It was like I can't even put my hands wide enough to show you how wide this freaking hat was. And she's walking down the thing. That's a church hat.
Yes.
That is a church hat. Wasn't no church hats.
No.
It was a lot of white people in polos, some of whom were wearing their hats in church because, again, ain't no black pastor about to let a man.
Absolutely not. They was probably also wearing khakis
in church, right? Come on.
They left the tiki torches in the car, I'm guessing.
Come on, man. You sitting there in church talking about Jews will not replace us. Sorry, Jesus. Jews will not replace us. It's like, come on, man.
They miss that irony in Christianity that,
because
it's all throughout the Bible that he was Jewish,
spoke Aramaic. And the interesting thing, this is the thing that I saw a meme about the hypocrisy of the GOP. It's like, if you are committed to protecting fetal life, but oppose food stamps and support for actual children who are here on the planet, you ain't a Christian and you're not following
not at all
policies and teachings of Jesus. You just aren't. You sitting here worried about your taxes and everything else. Ain't none of y'all actually paying enough taxes to run this damn country. I mean, let's keep it a buck. Y'all ain't gonna worry about it. It's not the deficit for you.
No.
It's my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren's deficit. You gonna skate through this, especially if you in your 70s now. You ain't got to worry about nothing. Your benefits are good.
Right.
You go get them benefits until you die. It's me. I might be scratching on something. My son, my oldest child is only 22, and my youngest is 16. They might have some problems.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's not because we are spending too much. It's because we are not collecting enough in taxes from people who can afford it. So I know that you country club Republicans are looking at your tax breaks, but it's hard to have a country club if you don't have a country. Let's be clear. You are inviting fascism to take over your golf courses. And it'll be just like in The Sound of Music, where you had your nice little castle, you thought it was great, and then here come the Nazis, and they're like, we are going to be taking over your castle, Baron. And it's like, wait, what? Edelweiss? What's going on? So don't be surprised when Augusta National Golf Club is turned into a youth orientation camp. MAGA foot soldiers and stuff. Y'all tripping. They trying to make it happen, baby boy.
Oh gosh.
It is en route.
It is.
But if something like that were to happen, those things would not be propped up by the proceeds of a certain stock, which has fallen 40% since the end of May. A lot of the trouble is basically because finally, after he was convicted of those 34 felonies, people are like, let me take a look at those foundational assets. And it lost $327 million in the first quarter. Usage is down by more than 1 million unique visitors. Trump is toying around with posting on other platforms like TikTok, because the tick and the talk, you got to post on TikTok. If you don't post on TikTok, you're not getting the young ones. And we need all of the votes from the young people as long as you're 18, or maybe if you're 17. I'll take your vote if you're 17 as long as you're going to be 18 before December, before January 6th. If you're going to be 18 before January 6th, go on ahead and cast your ballot. But don't mail it in. Make sure you stand in line all day. But maybe you can mail it in. I mean,
I'm surprised this stock is still even worth anything. Like, who the hell? No, I'm sorry, stupid question. I was going to ask who the hell is still.
And Devin Nunes, God bless him, you gave up your cushy ass job because you knew you were going to lose, and you came onto this Titanic, and you're talking about our 650,000 investors. Your 650,000 investors obviously don't have any understanding of financials, because this stock is trash. And when you split it, or when you issued, they didn't split it, they issued more shares, you automatically diluted the stock. And then some of the people who had the right to exercise their options before Trump sold off some stock, and that, It's not a good position to be in.
No.
It's a horrible position to be in. And God bless us, everyone who did see what this is for, and for the people on the stock market. Because again, Trump says that the economy was better under him, but the people who have to trade his stock are dealing with volumes double of what his peak was. So they're not buying it. They're like, we're doing great.
Yeah. Everyone is, actually. It's just,
people are doing fine. And
just not
gas
him.
prices are dropping.
Absolutely.
We're the #1 oil producer on the planet. He's talking about drill, baby, drill. We already are.
Been drilling like
beasts. Now, granted, we probably don't have the reserves that some of the people over there have.
No.
But their reserves aren't limitless either.
Reserves will run out at some point.
That's what I'm saying. The emir of Dubai knows what's up. That's why he's trying to turn Dubai into a tourist destination, so that they can still have some way of propping themselves up when that dinosaur juice gets all drained out of that sandstorm. And Dubai is a lovely place.
Mm-hmm.
But some of these other, Saudi Arabia, Yemen, it's tough. And so
nice.
I mean, listen, it's time to get out of Trump stock. Oh, the other big thing that was kind of hilarious, after all the SEC investigations, because the original auditor was fired for being a liar and can never actually audit ever again in life as a human being.
Shocking.
One of the things that they noted in the financials is that Truth Social is built on open source code. So they don't own any of the underlying intellectual property. Yes, right. And so the person who created all of the underlying code, there is a codicil in the agreement. When you decide that you're going to use their code, they can basically come in and say, oh, this is mine, so now I own it. Now that it's been monetized and you're monetizing it, I can come in and exercise my rights to the patents that I own on this open source code, because now you've tried to monetize it.
But you have the best people around you, and you couldn't keep them or hire them, make them in-house to build this. You had to go.
None of the people who left Twitter wanted to go to Truth Social.
Hell no.
So it's like,
they'd probably rather go back to friggin' what was it? Why am I drawing a blank on the name? Tom.
Oh, MySpace.
MySpace. Yes.
Yeah,
they go back there first.
Yeah. It's not a winning proposition, bro. And like, even though Elon has opened Twitter or X, whatever, to the incel Rati,
he's basically made it the Wild West.
Right. It's not like Twitter has exponentially more users and exponentially more revenue, and they're still not profitable. I mean, it's like, how is Truth Social with 1/100th of the user base
Being
supposed to
generous.
do it with no opportunity for expansion internationally.
None.
Because, the Le Pens and all of those right-wing people in Europe, they don't need Truth Social.
No.
They can use Parler, I guess, if Parler is still around, or Telegram or whatever.
Is, unfortunately. And
Huh?
Telegram is a growing platform, though.
Right. And so, I mean, we are where we are on that. So if you were a person who foolishly invested in some Truth Social stock, or you bought some of them Trump NFTs, or God save you, you bought the shoes or whatever, and you're counting on Trump to write you another Trump check, please be advised you can't get a Trump stimulus check unless it is passed by Congress.
It won't be.
It's not going to be, because that's what drove inflation. He's actually out there saying that he thinks inflation is at 40%. You don't buy anything, sir. How in the hell would you know that inflation was at 40%?
I mean, he buys gold to plate stuff in his house.
Shit, does he?
I mean, supposedly.
Because he's at no, he has gilt stuff, but that was stuff in the 80s. Now he's at Mar-a-Lago. I don't think he's doing a whole lot of redecorating. He's kind of cash poor right now.
Yes, he is.
He didn't even redecorate that bathroom where he was holding all those secret files. That bathroom looked like trash. He looked like a hoarder. Oh my gosh, can you imagine the Hoarders episode?
Oh my gosh.
So the bargaining phase. Now, Donald.
Oh my gosh.
What are we gonna do about these boxes? The boxes are mine, Donald.
Really, the boxes are yours until there's federal incriminating evidence in them. Then I don't know how they got there. Or what boxes?
You've lost that case, Donald. It's time to let go. These are my boxes. The boxes are mine. I'm never gonna let them go. I've got them. They're mine. They're perfect boxes. The boxes are perfect. No boxes have ever been more perfect than these boxes, and there's no secrets in them in any way. I telepathically made them mine. So go away. Leave now. Secret Service, apprehend them, and then come to me to jail.
Good one. CJ, that's a good one. Yeah.
What did CJ say?
Wait for all the repo stuff to be
bruh.
Absolutely.
It takes me back to my college days, because like you look at that couch from rent to own, and you're like, I can afford $70.
Right.
That's a couch. I like that couch. And then 4 years later, you paid $17,000 for a $500
couch. Right. Like, how long you renting to own stuff?
The hell? Yeah, he's not well. And
I mean, we've always known that.
We've known that. Dr. Richie Jefferson aside, he's just not doing things and conducting himself in a way that is satisfying to. I mean, you've got to believe that he's scaring some Republicans.
Has to be.
Because the season 4 of The Boys just dropped. And do you watch The Boys?
Yes, I do. Oh, yeah.
So one of the things that's great about The Boys, obviously, it's very kind of on the nose, except that thankfully Donald doesn't have any superpowers. But as I looked at the first couple of episodes, because it is it's very Boise, it's super Boise, just like always. They even have a requisite score of penises on screen at the same time. Become their annual Saturnalia.
Oh man, Orgasm was awesome though.
Well, so you have these people who are basically MAGAs in the Boys universe, and then you have the Starlighters who are basically like Me Too, BLM, female-led, peaceful sorts of people. If you're looking at The Boys and you're not a MAGA person, you're just a person who thinks that Donald will give you a better tax break, there's no rational human looking at The Boys who says, I want to be a Homelander. Because those people are dumb as shit.
Well, yeah, you did say rational, so.
So there are people in the Republican Party
mm-hmm.
who are also fans of the boys, and they are looking at that like, wow, is that what I look like when I wear this MAGA hat? I think I'm just gonna
take it off. You're giving them too much credit, because I don't even think it's that. They genuinely wholeheartedly believe in the Homelander message. I have power, I can do what I want because I'm in charge. And that's what a lot of these followers are falling in line with. Hell, they're walking around saying like, yeah, let him back in office and turn the country into a dictatorship. They're openly saying that.
I think the difference is that there's a hard calcified MAGA core that is there. But then there are, layers of dissolution. The further you go and the less impearled you are in the MAGA core, you've got little flakes of people coming off. And so some of the people who supported him last time were upset that Roe got overturned. And so you got some suburban women looking like, oh, really? And then once the E. Jean Carroll thing came out and he was convicted, not in criminal court, but in a tort, convicted of sexual assault. And sexual assault under current definitions, what he was convicted of would be considered rape. So now you've got a convicted rapist.
Yep.
Who has now lost $100 million to E. Jean Carroll. And if he keeps talking, his lawyer may file another suit. And then you got these 34 felonies. Every time something negative and major happens to him, the core calcifies, but just like that, the onion skin on a Spanish peanut, that thin layer. Some people rub that outer thin layer and they leaving the hard, extra salty nut in the middle, but their little papery asses are now in the bottom of the planter's can. Like, I don't know who I'm gonna vote for, but I can't vote for that nutbag. And so it's gonna be that continuation of the individual people being peeled off. And not to mention Nikki Haley voters. She would be in a much stronger position had she not said nothing until the convention. True. She should have waited for the verdict. She should have waited till the convention, leveraged her power. You don't have a career, ma'am. The only way you have a career is if he loses. That's it. So you don't really owe him anything.
Yeah, but they still all learn from him. And they feel like doing nothing is worse than doing something. No matter what that something is, they feel like they need to do something or say something, because silence is detrimental. Because, like you said, that hardcore, they want to know what's going on at all times. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad. They just need to know something's happening.
Right. Well,
you have to give them something every 5 minutes, or their attention span just wavers into the ether, and they start conspiracy theorying all out of the place.
But I mean, they're getting refed the same regurgitated nonsense every day. It's not like it's actually new.
And they don't care.
He's literally saying the same speech over and over again.
But he's saying something.
I listened to the Midas Touch Network, and Ben Maselis and Michael Popak. And Ben Maselis has said he knows the story beats and he knows the speech beats so well that extemporaneously he could, just very much like I was basically inventing speeches of him saying today, he knows where it's going. Sleepy Joe, witch hunt, corrupt, election interference, fake news, mental acuity, he's on drugs, Hannibal Lecter. I mean, it's just,
it's the same. It's the same
on Twister.
It's the same record over and over. And look, they love the bop. They're gonna burn a hole in that record. They're gonna wear that track out because they love it so much.
Well, speaking of wearing tracks out. So yesterday was Juneteenth.
Yes, it was.
And
we could stop there, but no.
We could stop there because y'all know what's coming. But why don't we just enjoy this beautiful beat?
Oh, man.
Here we go.
Must it on a beat, help people, any rap nigga here. Man down, call that Ember Lambs, tell them please, bro. Tell a nigga to the cross, he walk around like Tizo. What's up with these jabroni ass nigga? They see Compton, they in the street get heavy, fuck them all like. How many options you really got? I mean, it's too many options. I'm finna spaz on his body, I'm John Stockton. Beat your ass in like a party with God watching. Sometimes you gotta hop out and certified boogeyman. I'm the one that up to walking down whole time. I know he got some pull on him, extort shit, bully the roll him. Say Drake, I hear you like him.
Yes.
You better not ever go to cell block. To any nigga talk to him and they in love, just make sure you hide your little sister from him. They tell each other the only one that get your Hemi down. And party at the party playing with his nose now. And Baka got a weird case, why? Certified lover boy, certified. Rock, 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 rock. Rock, 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 rock. Why you trolling like a bitch, ain't you? Trying to strike a chord. Aight, they not like, they not like, they not like. They not like, they not like, they not like. You think the bank gon' let you disrespect Pop, nigga? I think that Oakland show gon' be your last. Get cold foul, I don't even know why you still pretending. What is the owl, bird niggas?
Okay, so we've all heard the song.
Yeah. Hold up. Before you go, that reminds me of like every college party, like impromptu Friday afternoon, someone brought out a boom, like a speaker, a microphone, something
on the set,
and just started something on like wherever the majority of the student body congregates randomly on campus, and an impromptu party just kicks off. Administration's not going to do anything. They're trying to get the hell up out.
Right. It's Friday. Who cares?
Whoever's the MC, their boys are just dancing around them, and the whole crowd gathers and just. That's what that stage thing was. He's leading the charge. His closest homies on the stage dancing around him, and everybody just gathered around.
Wait, homies from different sets.
That part.
He united Crips and Bloods. They didn't wear like their colors.
No, everybody was wearing
like
black,
brown stuff and black. Now he had a red hoodie on, which kind of surprised me. But that
some
was
Juneteenth
its
gear as well.
Thing.
Yeah.
Which was super duper impressive. And here's the thing. This is how much people hate Drake at that concert. Sold out concert. Mm-hmm. That was not a backyard barbecue.
No,
that was a freaking stadium. Okay. He played that song 5 times in a row. And so like the first time he came out, and it was almost like, is this the dress rehearsal? You know, like when usually on a competition show, they film stuff twice. So you get the practice take, and then you get the full-on performance take. And then if something goes wrong in the regular performance, they can cut in footage of the previous thing. So, you know, if you trip on stage or whatever. So the first performance, it was very sparse. It was basically just him. And then like halfway through the song, he got these 2 girls in poom poom shorts, and they come on and they start dancing. But it's a big empty stage for just to be the 3 of them. But the song is a bop and everybody's dancing. And as you can see, one of the things that's most telling about how much trouble Drake is in. Did you see every cell phone in the audience taking pictures because they're all sharing viral moments?
Yes.
They were just, and you brought DJ Mustard onto the stage, and Mustard on the beat, ho, and Russell Westbrook is up there, you know, giving his best jazz hands and sea walking and everything. I mean, it was nuts. It was absolutely insane. And he just keeps doing it. And of course he did Euphoria and everything else. So I mean, absolutely. It's like somebody said that this was the hateration and holleration in this dancery that Mary J. Blige was talking about. Mm-hmm. Because the hate was palpable. Absolutely. And meanwhile, Drake is posting little IG memes with these big ass Mickey Mouse looking ass shoes and oversized jeans, which actually infantilize him. Because when you wear baggy clothes, it tends to make you look smaller, which makes you look more like a child. What are you doing, Drake?
Look, the fact that I give Drake kudos for even, you know, still going out and showing his face in public. Most other MCs would have just curled up in the corner and be like, I quit. and disappear for 5 years.
I mean, go to Epstein Island, bro. It's an option.
You know, start producing tracks instead of rapping on them.
Well, and here's the thing. People are talking about, oh, you know, he did drop a song. Yeah, that Sexy Red song was so trash that her album sold 28,000 copies in the first week. You can't brag on that. That was you, Drake. You were supposed to be the guarantee. You were the big joker, Drake.
You did not help her at all. Hell,
you did not help her at all.
Sexy Red, and this is true. Sexy Red got a bigger bump being on WWE's NXT show a couple of weeks ago than having Drake on her album.
I mean, Sexy Red got a bigger bump from that dude in Drake's entourage who be messing with that stuff.
Why?
It was there. I couldn't resist. I'm sorry. Definitely don't do drugs. Definitely not. My son doesn't do drugs. He never touched it. Never even heard the song White Lines.
Oh my gosh.
He's never ridden the white horse or the white pony. White horse. Gonna ride the white horse.
See, CJ, technically Mary J. Blige doesn't dance.
No, she just spasm walks in knee-high boots. But it was, what were they calling it? Like Hoodcella?
Yes.
Or Ghettochella, or whatever. It was a masterpiece.
Absolutely.
Of derision and hate. And you had people willing. Now, I saw Prince.
Okay.
During the Purple Rain tour.
Okay.
I lived in Chicago. I went and saw Purple Rain in the theaters. I bought the Purple Rain album. I bought individual 12-inch singles. I went to the concert. I could only afford tickets behind the stage. And thankfully, Prince actually turned around because he knew it was cheap motherfuckers in no seats. He turned around and played to us. He played Purple Rain for 17 minutes.
Oh.
Okay?
That's a 4.5-minute song, though.
But it's Prince at the height of his superpowers. And when I tell you he's, you know, the guitar and the solo, nobody cared. It was a he just kept going, and people were just like, their arms are getting tired, lighters are getting too hot, people's manicures getting burnt off because they've been holding up the damn lighter for too long. Wasn't no cell phones. You couldn't do the cheap, you know, LEDs. It was just lighters. Lighters is all you had. People waving their hands for 17 minutes. Nobody cared because it was Prince. Okay? And Prince was killing it. Not Like Us is not that sort of song. Not Like Us repeats the same 4 musical bars pretty much nonstop with very little changes, 2 little breaks for a B-section break right before the chorus, and then it goes right back into the same thing. It's not something that should, by all rights, be able to sustain an audience through 5 complete performances. If it had been anybody else singing the same damn song, can you imagine Lauryn Hill? First of all, she shows up 2.5 weeks late. Then she gets up and she says, I'm going to play Killing Me Softly 5 times in a row. People would be throwing things at her. But all that happened in the Kendrick Lamar show is that more people started remembering the lyrics. So when he stopped talking, they seamlessly filled in the blanks. Certified pedophile! The time we got to the 5th performance, everybody knew it was coming. Everybody knew A minor. Everybody had the wop, 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 wop. I'm going to do my stuff. Wop, wop, wop. Everybody was singing the entire damn song and recording it on their cell phones. Drake,
look,
there has not been another diss track that has done that, period. Nas.
The Nas and Jay-Z beef never even got to this point.
Never.
They did their one each, and that was it. And we still debating on who won that today.
Can you imagine audiences trying to sing Ether?
No.
Right.
Don't try.
No, you don't. It's just not something you do. But Kendrick and Mustard created this juggernaut that is so danceable, so quintessentially West Coast. He's name dropping Serena. If Serena had brought her ass onto that stage with a goddamn tennis racket,
pretty much like one of the few people missing.
That's what I'm saying.
Dr. Dre came out and said, "I see dead people." Yeah, Scholarly, you're right.
That's what I'm saying. He had Noah's whole ass ark on that damn stage. And Drake, undermelanated brother to undermelanated brother, sit this one the fuck out. Go back to Big Don King or whatever the name of that little Chinese place is. Get you some of the fried rice special. And go back to that big ass house of yours and Tootsie slide your way into July. Leave it alone. Let it go. It's not 4th of July ain't even a holiday in Canada, so stop fronting. It's done, bro. They are bringing out videos of you from when you were a teenager. They got you recorded on dates, dropping the hard R in the N-word and being disparaging to black people and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Bro, it's over.
Look,
you can sit it out if go ahead.
Aubrey from Degrassi is never going to be remotely close to being identifiable as hardcore or thuggish by any stretch of the imagination.
No, it's only the memory hole existence of these little 14-year-olds who never saw Degrassi, who just think he's the bomb because like he has been able to reinvent himself all the time.
I mean, well, to them, sure, but anybody over the age of 20.
But that's what I'm saying. And so it's a wrap. Like he's still got some stands who are just like, oh, you know, he's gonna body Kendrick. Y'all acting like you knew who Kendrick Lamar was before this beef. Are you kidding me?
When is he going
Grammy award winning?
Dead. When is he going to body him? Because
that's what I'm saying.
Folks are still waiting.
Grammy winning Kendrick Lamar, Pulitzer Prize winning Kendrick Lamar. All right, Kendrick Lamar. Y'all didn't remember that iconic video? We gonna be all right. I remember that song. That was 6 years ago?
Yeah.
7 years ago?
6 or 7, yeah.
Y'all are on Drake's nuts.
Too hard.
Pause. I shouldn't have even started that sentence. That was a mistake.
Yeah, you finished it though.
that was a mistake. So you've got this guy, and how about starting off with a positive affirmation that you are not a pedophile? Could we just have a statement from you, from your legal counsel, saying these are ungrounded allegations? There is absolutely no proof of me engaging in any sort of inappropriate relationship with any young, underage person, any minors at all. Don't listen to my 7 songs where I reference that. Just let it go. It's absolutely not true. But you're not doing it, Drake.
Not to mention the dozens of photos out there of him taking photos, hanging out with these young girls when they're 12 or 14 years old. And then the moment they turn 18 or 19, they're dating. Yeah, I'm just, I don't know. But where I come from, the way I grew up and learning things, that's called grooming.
Grooming! And we're not talking about the kind of grooming where you put those big plastic goddamn clipper barrettes in your friggin' head.
No, not that.
That's not the type of grooming we're talking about. We're talking about the nasty kind. We're talking about the Epstein kind.
Yes.
And that's not going to work for you, bro. And you released a song after he came out with Not Like Us. You released a song where, in your own words, you used words where certain words can be dropped out by ellipses, where it says, I promise you, I messed with young girls. That was in your song. That was what you thought was a good lyric. I promise you, if I messed with young girls, everybody would know about it. Really?
But everybody.
That was kind of Epstein's entire thing.
Yeah.
People not knowing he was running young girls. It was R. Kelly's entire thing, not being able to prove he was running young girls. Even a videotape that is 20 years old of him urinating on a 13-year-old child was not enough to put R. Kelly away. You're nasty.
Yeah. And that SNL sketch he did, which is coming back around on social media. Probably wish he hadn't done that.
Probably wish he had. And here's the thing. I was today years old when I thought I would be on Team Soulja Boy for anything. But today, that's why the name of this segment is Drake. Drake. Because,
oh man,
baby, what is you doing? That you not like us, and this is not it. You need to stop. You need to put it down.
In this situation, silence would definitely be golden.
Listen, you need to go sit yourself down in an AMC theater, not at a showing of Garfield. Go see like Bad Boys.
Civil War, if it's still out there.
Go see Civil War is gone. I'm sure Civil War is gone.
Wow.
You can't even get to see Furiosa, probably. Furiosa,
Quiet Place Day 1 is coming out soon. Go see that.
Yeah, don't go to see Inside Out, though.
No.
Riley is 13. Stop it. I'm surprised one of the emotions isn't nasty. Nasty. Played by Drake. Yeah, can you imagine Drake voicing a character that lives inside a prepubescent girl's head?
Okay.
Right, exactly, right?
Wow.
You need to inject your ears with bleach, right?
Like there's not enough soap to scrub that out of my head now. Thank you.
Correct. We have
Why?
turned Drake into legitimately almost a certified pedophile. Wop, 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 wop.
It's not almost. This is not almost.
Yeah. No, he's not technically certified, but he is so close to being certified.
Let's put it this way. I have no doubts that he is.
Well, and that's just gross. It makes me feel like I knew that I'm trying to track back to when I realized that Drake had jumped the shark from just being that party dude into somebody who's like, and I'm not going to try to pretend I'm the biggest music fan. I mean, I appreciate music, but I listen to podcasts in the car. Mm-hmm. So I'm not like a person who's bumping these hip hop tracks, and all these mumble rappers piss me off. I came up in the era of the origination of hip hop. And so,
True
don't
lyricism.
push me because I'm close to the edge. Like people are talking about stuff, Nas, KRS-One, Public Enemy. People had something to say. There are rappers out here that are still doing that. J. Cole and Kendrick, among them. And Drake was the party dude. Just like Yasin Bey said, I feel like it's good music to listen to in a mall. It'll make you want to buy something. I mean, he wasn't even being disrespectful. He was being accurate. That was a completely accurate way to approach the question.
He's not.
But now he's decided he's all hard and stuff, and it's like, no, bro, you had to stencil abs on instead of working out. All you have is time. I know you got a whole ass Gold's Gym in that mansion.
Yes,
I know you do, and you
There's
could
definitely
certainly
workout room.
I mean, come on.
There's definitely a workout room.
There's definitely a hidden workout room with a full body image of Millie Bobby Brown in it. But I'm just saying, you could have a trainer. One of my Rattler brothers, Scott Parker, helped to train Jill Scott. I'm sure before all of this,
wait, time out, hold up, wait, back up. You said train Jill Scott?
Yeah.
Can he slide me her number?
From what I've heard, Jilly Jill is a lot to deal with.
Okay.
He said, "I'll take that bet."
I mean, you had me at Jill Scott. Nothing else matters.
Yeah, well, I mean, listen. I'm not gonna put your name on blast, brother, but Streets is talking.
I don't care. Let them talk. They talked about Jesus.
I'm saying Streets are talking about trying to get at Jill. Jill, come back. I'm still waiting on the second season of #1 Ladies Detective Agency.
You too?
I mean, come on, man. Like you promised. You said it was coming back.
Why did I get married? I got season 1 box set in the closet right now.
That's what I'm saying. I read all the damn books because of you. Come on, Jill. Work with a brother. Your accent wasn't that bad. Okay, so we are just over an hour. I promise that we're going to try to keep it tight today. Thank you, as always, to everybody who's in the comments. CJ coming through. Thank you, Liz, for dropping your comments. Anthony Turner, as always. James will take the chance. He's shooting his shot.
For Jill Scott, yes.
So we're getting into the season. Debate is coming up.
Oh, goody.
Republican National Convention is coming up.
Oh, joy.
And we'll see. Sentencing is coming up. So things are going to be hot and heavy. We are going to be on a weekly schedule. Hiatus is more or less over. We are definitely going to be trying to bring a show each and every week. So as always, like, subscribe, and hit the notification on YouTube, and follow us on Facebook. Tell your friends. Ask them to come along. We're still looking for folks. James is not going to be available every week. So, we're looking for other people to expand the show. God bless you, Joy, for your hectic work week. We are so glad that you are making money. And so sad that you were not able to make it this week. But we will see you next week. And as always, whenever we sign up on the show, we end it by saying, I'm Tom Cunningham.
I am James Herndon.
And this is Steel Sharpens Steel. We'll see you next week, everybody.
Good night, everybody.